just going to start off by browning the Italian sausage. This is the hot Kroger brand. I'm going to be cooking everything in this pot. We'll be transferring everything into a bigger bowl, so technically it's a pot and a half, but cooking it will be a one-pot dish. With the fettuccine in, I did use a whole 12-ounce box. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but it's an idea. I have a bag of frozen broccoli, and I'm just going to add about half the bag to the noodles. I'm just going to let that cook down, and hopefully the broccoli cooks at the same time. That's what I love about meals like this. I kind of just throw everything together, and that's when they usually turn out the best. So I'm going to add some more water to this, since that did take up a lot. Put my lid on that so that brings it back to a boil. So my idea turned out okay. The broccoli is done. The pasta is done. I'm going to dump out the water. I am reserving just a little bit of the pasta water for later. Dump everything into the bowl with the sausage and get working on the sauce. 6 tablespoons of butter. This on a low heat, and we're going to be adding 8 ounces of cream cheese to this. Add in 1 cup of chicken broth and 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Now I'm going to bring this up to a boil while I'm making sure to continue and stir. I like my sauce with a lot of seasoning. You definitely do not have to add this much seasoning. That is completely up to you. 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And just a dash of crushed red pepper. I'm going to be doing half a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to let this come to a boil and then reduce the heat and add the cheese in. So I'm going to be adding what Parmesan I have, which is 2 ounces. And I'm just going to be adding the rest of the bag of the mozzarella, which was about 8 ounces. We're going to reduce that heat so that cheese doesn't melt to the bottom. I'm going to let it simmer for about 5 minutes, take it off the heat and let it simmer for another 5 minutes so it can get nice and thick. I was so pleased with night number 1. Making your own pasta sauce is the only way to go. It's so quick and simple to do. I do not know why I don't do it more often. I put this on my pork chops that I do also, and it turns out really good. So we just served this with some garlic bread. This is the bread from the Great Bread Bake Off. If you have not watched Tuesday's video, I'll put a link up to that right now. That video was a lot of fun to make, so let's move on to night 2. Night 2, we are just going to be making a burrito bowl with 1 pound hamburger meat, a can of black beans, hot rotel, Spanish rice, scoop it up with some chips. Okay, we got a crawling baby. So we interrupt this dinner for crawling baby. What are you doing? Let's get you out of the kitchen, baby.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. To the meat, I'm adding 1/4 cup of water and our taco seasoning. I don't measure ours out. I just like to add as much and live on the edge. I've rinsed the black beans and I'm going to be adding those along with the hot rotel. Oop. Don't add the lid. That's not extra flavoring. And we're just going to let this simmer until the rice is done. So about 7 to 8 minutes. So this is the Spanish rice I'll be using. I'm just following directions on the back, which are 2 cups of water and 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. I just added jalapeno and cheese to mine with some chips, and we do have some queso that we're gonna heat up, and then that is a wrap for night number 2. Meal number 3, I was just craving some Cajun seasonings, so we're going to do sausage, potatoes, and corn. I am going to season the sausage and the potatoes, cook those in the oven. With the corn, I'm just going to cook it by the instructions, just in water and salt, because Blair is going to be eating the corn, so I don't want to season it for her. This is just a quick and simple meal, super easy to put together. And then that's a wrap for night number 3. The sausage and potatoes were just in the oven cooking, and then the corn is done, so we're just going to add everything together. And simple meal, but super easy, and it costs nothing this week. Tonight's dinner is going to be my cream cheese pork chops. So I have 4 pork chops in this bowl, and I'm going to marinate it for an hour in the salsa verde. So we will be doing this recipe in my Ninja tonight. It's just what's convenient for me right now, but you could definitely do this on the stovetop. I've done that numerous times. So we're going to put about 4 pieces of bacon in here, put it at 360 on air crisp for about 12 minutes until that bacon is nice and crispy. The pork chops have been marinating in the fridge for about an hour, so I'm going to be using a teaspoon of taco seasoning. Spread it evenly between the 4, and then another teaspoon of Tony's. In a microwave-safe bowl, we're going to add 4 ounces of cream cheese, microwave this in 30-second increments, then chop up some jalapenos and get this mixture made up. Start on the pork chops. We're going to place them on the rack at 360 on air crisp for 7 minutes on each side. So with about a minute left, I did go ahead and check on them. I'm going to take them out because I do have to flip this rack over. Just because I've tried to do it with the rack the way it is, and then you close the lid and the cream cheese sticks to the top, which is not fun. So I'm just going to flip this, add the pork chops back in, and now put the cream cheese on. If you were doing this on the stovetop, you would just do the same way. If you have a lid to your pot, then you would just put the lid on and then let it simmer down until the cream cheese is nice and melted. Or you could even put it in the oven. I've tried that before. Also on broil. So just load these bad boys up, and then in a few minutes they will be ready to go. Whenever we make these, as far as like a side, we would do ranch style beans or mashed potatoes or corn on the cob. All great options, but since we are doing a no spend this week, we don't have any beans, so we will just be doing the pork chops, and trust me, that is perfectly fine because these are so filling. That last little bit of cream cheese. Put this on broil and let that just melt into the pork chops. Just like that, these pork chops are done. I know as soon as I cut into them, they are going to be nice and juicy. This is one of my absolute favorite meals. It is definitely a go-to. You have to try this one out.
Rounding out night 5, my husband suggested that we do nachos, so I said, why not? I found this hamburger meat that I had in the freezer. I had already seasoned it with taco seasoning, so we're going to mix that with refried beans, cheese, jalapenos, sour cream, cilantro, the whole nine. It's just a quick and simple meal, and it's going to clear out the pantry.
In all honesty too, I wanted to record this nacho video because I wanted to show off my Mother's Day present. My amazing husband bought me this brand new tripod. This is the old tripod that I was using, which it was fine, it was dandy, but I would have to prop it up on like anything that I could find to make it taller. So I'm so happy to have this one, and I cannot wait to shoot some different angles with it. That is all the meals in this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I just want to wish all the mothers out there happy Mother's Day, and I will catch you guys later.